Hi everyone, my name is Wendi Irlbeck. I am a registered dietitian and I'm really excited today. We're going to be doing the Facebook Live here with Build Up Dietitians. I'm going to allow people to collect themselves and get online here. We're going to start in about 4 minutes. So feel free to comment and make sure that I can see who's on with me, and we'll go ahead and get started here in a few minutes. I hope everybody's having a great day. Please comment if you can hear me and let me know that you're online. I would love to meet all of you, so please feel free to drop yourself in the comment there. Hi Sherry, how are you? Great, you can hear me. That's excellent. Thank you for commenting. I was unsure. I wasn't hearing from anyone. We'll give a few more minutes here. So we're at about 11:59. So again, really excited to have this opportunity. So grateful for Build Up Dietitians. Truly love their platform. They share a lot of really great science. They're sharing funny memes. They truly connect RD to Bs with other dietitians, health professionals, fitness professionals. So again, I'm just really, truly grateful for this opportunity to discuss my journey. So we'll give a few more minutes. Sherry, if you have any comments or questions or anything that you would like me to discuss, I see that you're being very actively engaged. Feel free to comment below. And I know that it's a challenging part of the day too. It's, dead set lunchtime for most people, and it's a Friday, so happy Friday. I hope that everybody has really fun, active, healthy things planned for this weekend. All right, so it is 12 p.m., so I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that have joined or are joining, this will also be shared later on, so feel free if you have to take care of something, if you have to work, if you have things going on, this can be viewable later on the tabs on the video page. So again, I just want to thank Build Up Dietitians for this opportunity to discuss my path and journey to becoming a registered dietitian nutritionist. I think this is really great because when I was an RD2B, I didn't see these videos. There wasn't a lot of information out there. So it's just really great to have this as a great resource. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll go ahead and address those. So introduce myself, Wendi Irlbeck. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a sports nutritionist. You can find me on Facebook at Nutrition with Wendi. I also have a Twitter page, Wendi Irlbeck. I'm also very active on Instagram at Nutrition with Wendi. So recently I have resigned my position with the Dairy Council of Michigan here. I love my opportunity with them to work in youth wellness and sports nutrition, but I've recently accepted a professorship position at the local community college here in Lansing, Michigan. And I'm really excited to teach upcoming students, dental hygienist students, about the fundamentals of nutrition. So I've taken on that opportunity. And then I have also started my own private practice, Nutrition with Wendi. So I wanted to go ahead and throw that out from the start. So feel free to navigate to those social media pages. You can reach out to me. You can send me any sort of DM and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the journey. I initially did not want to be a registered dietitian. I love fitness. So starting out, I went to a community college, did my 2-year associate's degree. I also played college softball in Rochester, Minnesota at RCTC. I had a great experience. It was very efficient with my funds to save money and to get my general education credits out of the way. And then I did transfer to the University of Wisconsin-Stout and did my undergrad in health, wellness, and fitness. What's funny about my story is that I did transfer there for dietetics. And I was in the dietetics program and I felt very conflicted because, again, I loved nutrition, but I loved fitness. I loved strength and conditioning. I loved health in general. So for me, I was finding myself kind of, confused. Maybe I should do something kinesiology related. So I was very actively involved with the college. I served on a College of Health and Education board as a student advisee. So I communicated with my faculty advisor, Dr. Mike Bird, and he and I discussed this great opportunity to do the health, wellness, and fitness program. So it was something that they had adopted from Stevens Point in Wisconsin. And I thought, wow, this is great. He laid out the program guide and said that there's health, there's nutrition, there's sports nutrition, there's exercise science, there's all these different various aspects of health and performance that I was truly intrigued by. So I thought to myself, this would be great. So I ended up switching out of the dietetics program and I switched into health, wellness, and fitness. And I was actually the very first person to graduate from UW-Stout with a Bachelor of Science in Health, Wellness, and Fitness. So that was really exciting. But then there was also some challenges along the way. So I graduated from that program in 2012. And during my time at UW-Stout, I actually obtained my personal training certification. So I worked as an independent contractor with Anytime Fitness in Menominee, Wisconsin as a 20-year-old. So when people tell me that you're too young, too old to do something, that's not true. If you're truly passionate about it, go out, map out whatever it is that you need to do to achieve what you want to do, and then go ahead and do it. So I attained my CPT, and I did that through my undergrad work. So I would have clients early in the morning. I would train them at about 5 a.m. and then I would go to class at 8 a.m. and then have class all day. And then after class, I would go back to Anytime Fitness and have my clients in the evening. So along that way, I found myself, I really love fitness. And again, I was training them, but then they also would ask about nutrition. And I thought, wow, I read a lot, but still I didn't have that basic fundamental understanding of science and physiology because, again, my program was now health, wellness, and fitness. So not to get too tangential with things, I found myself still kind of, maybe I should be a dietitian, but I didn't know. So I continued with fitness and I graduated. I then moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and found myself working with Lifetime Fitness in Woodbury as a health and fitness professional. I trained a lot of great clients. Same thing though, there was still lots of nutrition questions and I read lots of books. At that time, I'll be totally honest, I thought Wheat Belly and Grain Brain, some of those books were high quality books, and I would read them and I would just feel like, wow, this seems really biased. So again, I still thought in the back of my head, maybe I should be a dietitian, but I still pursued fitness and strength and conditioning. So I worked in corporate wellness for a little while. I moved from Lifetime to United Health Group and I was a health advocate. I did a lot with health insurance and kind of navigating the healthcare field for that general consumer and helping them schedule appointments that are in network with their providers. But again, I still felt like something was missing. And we had health coaches on our team at United Health Group that actually were registered dietitians. And I got to sit down on some of their coaching calls and I thought, wow, they're doing such a great job with impacting these people's lifestyles, and it's all through nutrition. So again, it was still in the back of my head that I probably should be a dietitian, but I still wasn't ready to do that, and continued on and was actually invited by my supervisor to go ahead and take a position as a health coach with corporate Lifetime in Chanhassen, Minnesota. So I did that for about 5 months. And it was a great opportunity. I love my team. I worked with a team of registered dietitians. I started reading more science. I was really big into physiology. I was personal training people telephonically. We had some great health coaching calls. We worked with employee benefits. again, just collectively a great experience, but something was still missing. And so I decided August of 2014 on a whim that I was going to contact Dr. Seaborn at UW Stout, who's now retired, and she's a phenomenal person. She has had such an impact on everybody's life, which is amazing. We all love her. But she said, Wendi, we could get you into the master's program. You could do your didactic courses, and then you could also complete your master's at the same time. And I thought, wow, okay, this would be a great opportunity. I could take about 2 years to accomplish this. So I was taking that plunge, and I knew something was missing. I wanted to work with athletes. I wanted to get back into sports nutrition. I really wanted to pursue that to the full capacity and see where I could take it. So Lord willing, I applied. Of course, I was accepted, and Dr. Seaborn assisted me with getting into some courses. So I literally, within 2 weeks, I left my corporate job and lifetime, and I went back and did my master's in Menominee, Wisconsin at UW Stout. I had a great experience. I met some of my best friends. I had a tremendous mentor who I'm going to shout out to right now, Dr. Carrie Peterson. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me, that you're currently doing for other dietitians. RD, just to be, you're a phenomenal mentor, friend, mother, wife, all of those things. Carrie, I had Carrie as my sports nutrition professor in one of my classes in undergrad. And to be honest, I felt like she was such a great professor, but she demanded so much of us, and it really challenged us students to attain our knowledge at a higher level. So her and I built a great relationship, and I still view her as a mentor throughout this entire process. But I just wanted to give a shout out to her because, again, nobody is self-made. We all have great people in our lives that help us along the way. So it's really important to acknowledge those people and to tell them thank you. So thank you, Dr. Peterson. You're amazing. So working on my master's, I got involved with our athletes at UW Stout. I worked with the football team, the hockey team, men and women's basketball, gymnastics, all great sports. I would do, Tip Tuesday, I would go in and do some nutrition education, working under Jane Foose, who was a dietitian with the Mayo Clinic there in Menominee. And she, was a contract position, so she didn't have a lot of hours that she was paid there. So me and a few other dietetic interns, if you will, took on that as a volunteer opportunity. So I say that with high regard because nowadays, a lot of people just expect that they're always going to be compensated for the work that they do. And while I appreciate that and respect that, you have to pay your dues. You have to get in there and get that experience. And that's truly what I did. So I worked strictly volunteer with all of our sports teams at UW Stout, and it was a great experience. That's truly where I learned, and I felt my passion ring through, and I'm like, I need to do sports nutrition, and I love it. And I just love empowering athletes, to make those informed choices when they're going through the line. So truly great experience. While I was doing that, I also knew, okay, I'm going to have to apply for dietetic internships, and I've got to have a little bit more clinical experience. So I actually applied for a dietetic tech position at St. Joe's Hospital in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So it was about a 40-minute drive. I worked that job in addition to my master's and then also doing the stuff with the athletes. So I had a full load. I still found time though. You got to make time to work out and eat well yourself. That's really important. A lot of dietetic students now, I see so much about people glorifying the grind. And I appreciate that because I've done that myself too. But again, you have to take care of yourself. And we're all type A and we're all really competitive and we're all really, really good at things. But it's really important to keep in mind why we're becoming dietitians. It's truly to help that person and to serve them. And I always tell people you cannot pour from an empty pot. So it's really important to take care of yourself. Students coming up, sleep, get a good night's rest before exams. Don't stress about internships. Don't let those take over your life because again, it will all work out. And everybody used to say that to me and I hated hearing that because I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Like, it's so competitive and with the 50% match rate, and I'm not, versed on the recent statistics and I don't know what it is, but it's very competitive. So going back to wrapping up my master's, so I did, the work with the athletes. I loved working with hockey, gymnastics, really great opportunities. I earned those. I went in, introduced myself. I provided my resume, just really important to continue networking with others. Ask dietitians if you can shadow them, reach out to people, ask, what can I learn? How can I be better? Everybody, and I've been there too, where I feel I know this, I don't need this help, but it's not true. you can always learn something. I don't care how experienced you are, how long you've been in the field, what you're currently doing, there's always an opportunity to learn and to help someone else. So it's always about giving back. So wrapping up things, I had my last summer before I graduated in December of 2016. I went and, well, first and foremost, I applied for a Fuel and Gator sports nutrition internship position with the University of Florida. And I thought that was a really cool opportunity. And I saw it come across the CPSCA, and I followed a lot of that stuff. And another side note, please be a part of every, membership opportunity that you can. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the Collegiate Professional Sports Dietetics Association. Become a member of all those events, organizations, because it's a great opportunity for you to network, to meet other professionals, to learn, and to see internship opportunities. So I saw the University of Florida opportunity come through, and I thought, wow, that's tremendous. I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring, not thinking, that they would pick some punk from Wisconsin, a little small polytechnical college. And I was actually selected for an interview and went through the interview. And then I found myself packing up my car and driving down to Florida from May 2016 to August 2016. And I went there completely unpaid. We worked several hours, often very early mornings, and making sure that the fueling stations were set up correctly, having the opportunity to interact with athletes coming into the training table, to helping them pick out healthy snacks. Anybody that knows sports and knows Florida or the SEC knows that they're pretty elite athletes, right? So it matters for all people what we're putting in our bodies, but for them, there are very important details of their performance program. So making sure that they are getting in that recovery meal, making sure that their pre-workout meals are in check. So I did a lot of coordinating of those meals and snacks for basketball, and then a lot of the track people would come in, really phenomenal people. I learned a lot from Liz Fox, who I believe she's at the University of Mexico now, but she was my supervisor. She was absolutely amazing. I met some other really great people there. Stephanie Wilson, just again, learned a lot about programs and how to order food and knowing the ins and outs of how to fuel an elite athlete. So it was a really tremendous experience. And again, if anyone has comments or questions or anything about that experience, please feel free to reach out to me. But I was so grateful for that opportunity. Again, people will tell you that you can't do something, that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. Why would you even apply for something like that? And I've always been like, well, why not? What's the worst they're going to say is no? Okay, great. I'll go get that experience somewhere else. So again, super grateful for that opportunity. And I came back to Stout and I graduated. And of course, in that time I was preparing for internships, and I did a spring match, and I applied to Vanderbilt, the University of Minnesota, the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, because I'm from down by Rochester, Minnesota, and I applied to UW Stout. And I'll just share this because I think it's really important to talk about it. So I ranked them, of course, and any RDs it's a stressful process. You hear horror stories about it, but you apply, you get all of your things in order, you build your resume, all of these things, and then you rank your internships, and then of course you wait for that fateful day on a Sunday at 6 p.m. to receive where you're matched. And I'll share this with you. I received my last match. I chose UW Stout as my last pick, and I was matched. During that process, I was so stressed out and I was scared that I wasn't going to get matched, but I also was hopeful that, I've worked all these free hours, I've networked, I've worked really hard, I have previous experience, my grades are pretty decent. I did struggle with some of the chemistries. The sciences are really hard. So again, RDs to be, grades matter, but so does experience. And it's truly about creating a great personal statement to really sell yourself and to really capitalize on those strengths. So going back to that process, I got my last pick. I was matched with UW Stout, and I was pretty upset about that because I felt like, well, I really deserve, maybe Vanderbilt or the Mayo Clinic, when we know in reality, there's always a plan and God has a great plan for you, and you've just got to trust it and see it through. So I was matched, and I got over that quickly. I was pretty upset about it, but again, a match is a match, and you still get to become a dietitian at the end of the day. So don't get hung up on where you do your internship, because either way, it's an internship and it still leads you to your destination. So moving forward, I had great experience. I did clinicals throughout Wisconsin and Minnesota. It was tremendous. During the internship, it was stressful, right? everybody's critiquing you. I joke with the other interns, and it was like every day was a job interview, right? So you had to bring your A game. You had to do lots of projects. You learned a ton. You have to ask questions. All those experiences, when I reflect back on them, they were so hard and challenging, but they truly provided me with a wealth of knowledge and experience that I can now apply to what I'm currently doing. So don't get stressed out about that process. Just trust it. And again, I'm happy to talk with anyone about it if you have any questions, just for the sole ease of it. So once I wrapped up my internship, I started interviewing for positions, and I found myself again questioning, what arena should I be in? Should I go into sports nutrition? Should I go into clinical? Should I do community nutrition? Most dietitians are told, early on, or RDs to be, that you have to do clinical, you have to start in clinical. And while that may be true, other dietitians can argue differently. I say you have to go with your true passion, and if you're willing to put in that work and maybe shadow to gain that additional experience so you can market yourself outside of the clinical realm, I think you should absolutely go ahead and do that, because I am not a clinical dietitian. That is just not for me. I love working with people, general clients that do want to lose weight, but I knew that my passion was sports nutrition. And a lot of people, again, told me it's really competitive. You can't do it. I've been told that I wouldn't be a dietitian. I wouldn't get a master's degree. I wouldn't be able to achieve any of the things that I've currently achieved. Again, I didn't do that alone. I had a great support system. My family, my father, my dad has been my rock, and he's provided me a lot of strength and resilience through this entire process. So I just preface that I like to encourage people. I like to empower people, and I like to believe that just because somebody else couldn't do it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So you just got to put in that time and work smart, not hard. Work smarter, not harder, because you're going to work hard anyway. You're a dietetic student, so you know that game. So I accepted a position with the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. So I worked with Milk Means More here in Okemos, Michigan. And I accepted that position in July of 2018. Phenomenal opportunity. I learned so much. I had such a great experience. I love dairy. I loved working for the dairy farmers. I love promoting the science to, consumers that were conflicted, and specifically with adolescent athletes. I did a lot of health education, a lot of nutrition education, physical activity. The Dairy Council in each state has partnerships with professional sports teams and organizations. So it's a really great opportunity to utilize that platform to, really empower those young athletes and just, students, right? And they're in those critical stages for growing and developing. So it's a really great opportunity to get them while they're young and to educate them. So I really love that experience. I recently just resigned from that position actually last month because, again, as I shared, I started my own practice, and my passion is, working with recreational athletes, doing, public speaking. I really love presenting. I love talking to people about nutrition. I love conferences. I do want to give a shout out to, everyone at the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, because I worked with a phenomenal team of dietitians. And I want to share something that, was really hard for me. So those that have been following me for some time know that I couldn't pass the RD exam, flat out. I couldn't pass it. I took it 3 times and failed it. I kept getting 24s. And this is where, again, I plug in Dr. Peterson, because I would call her, we would talk about it. She would hear me out, and I just didn't understand. I'm like, I'm the last person to not pass this test, but it's a really hard test. And I found that I had performance anxiety, and I found myself stressing out about it so much that I blacked out during the exam. I mean, it's amazing. I'm a former collegiate athlete. I thrive under pressure, but for whatever reason, this exam was really hard for me. And it wasn't a knowledge deficit. It was truly, the questions are what they are. They're challenging. But again, if you truly have that confidence, then you can go in there, you can approach it, and you can take it, and you can be successful with it. So again, I tell people, just because you haven't accomplished it yet doesn't mean that it's a no. It's just a not yet. So you have to keep at it. Do not quit. Do not give up. Take time. Make sure that you take care of yourself, and don't keep, trying to study all the time. And I had really great support at the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, because I literally failed that exam for 9 months of my employment. And my supervisor, Melissa Gerharder, was amazing and encouraging. And she said she wasn't worried about it. She knew that I was able to, do my job, and I was able to educate. And in the state of Michigan too, we don't have licensure right now. So I know that's something that they're currently working on, but I still wasn't a registered dietitian, so they provided me, a great amount of support, and they allowed me to do my job and to gain that experience while I was still continuing to test. So I did officially pass my exam in, June, and that was really exciting, and it felt amazing. And I get chills because, to be totally honest, had I not failed it 3 times, it would not have been as amazing as it was to pass it. It felt so incredible. And I called Dr. Peterson. She was the first person I told, and she could embrace and share in that moment as well, and have that joy, because it has been a long journey for me. So like I said, I started this back in 2012, when I switched out of the dietetics program. So finding myself, 7 years later, finally, reaching where I truly wanted to be, and that is a registered dietitian nutritionist. And I'm so excited about it. I love it. I'm so grateful for all the people that I've been currently working with, all the professionals in the field. I love our field. I love dietetics. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and that's why I am so active on social media, and I empower and I encourage others to be on social media, have those conversations, RDs to be included, dietitians, because there's people out there that don't have that food and nutrition knowledge that you do. I mean, we are specialized in that. We are the experts by definition, technically, dietitians, right? We are the food and nutrition experts. So we need to get in there, and we need to have those difficult conversations in a respectful way, of course, honoring other professionals, collaborating with them. We all have our lanes. I like to say, people have probably seen on Twitter, I've said, we need to swim in our lanes. And I think that's really profound, because we all have our area of expertise, but that's not to say that we know everything. So each dietitian has a different wealth of knowledge, but we can all collaborate together to best serve the client. So that's what I would say to upcoming dietitians is, make sure that you network, that you seek out a mentor, find those resources. You can read books all day long, but you truly need to get out there and have those conversations. You need to interact with people. It's a really great opportunity for you not only to learn, but to build those relationships and that rapport. Because someday, no matter what realm of nutrition, dietetics you're working in, we're in a business for people, and it's about people, and it's about those relationships. So you can know everything about nutrition and science, but that person sitting across from you doesn't really care about your knowledge until they know how much you care. So I just really encourage RDs to get out there and do that. I will share one thing. Looking for books, because I am a big book person. So some great things that I had during my internship, and then even just during the course of my education. Jean Inman, fantastic. Read that thing cover to cover. It's like the nutrition Bible, right? For the RD exam. And then this is a phenomenal book too, the Nutrition Diagnosis Related Care. I actually still use this, and it does have some sports nutrition stuff in there as well. So I'm a huge advocate for, making sure that you are getting, some great books and you're reading constantly, but then again, talking to people. This is also a great one too. I use this one for the preparation of my exam. It's a really good manual, but it's very similar to Jean Inman. So just make sure, I know that they're expensive resources, but they're resources that you can have forever. And I always reference back to them. Again, it doesn't matter how much it's still really good to, continue to verse yourself and have that dialogue with your clients. Yes, and the build-up, thank you, Leah. I need to look at these comments here. The build-up event is a helpful place to network too. So I am not going to fancy, unfortunately, but for those that are, make sure that you get involved and do the build-up events, because they're really great opportunities. And everybody is so, so nice. I actually met a few. There was a build-up event at the International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference here this past summer, and I didn't know about it, but I met Nicole Rodriguez, and she was amazing. So she works for the Beef Council, but it is a really great opportunity. It's really important to network and to put yourself out there. Get on social media. I'd be happy to help any of you, talk about how to share stuff and be respectful. I myself, through trial and error, I've learned a lot along the way with, discussing nutrition with health professionals, with physicians. Often physicians have, their own opinion about things. And sometimes, they are very, how do I say this? They're very set in their ways, and they've only had, about 5 minutes of medical training nutrition training during their medical training. So a lot of physicians do respect dietitians. A lot of physicians aren't even aware that we do have that nutrition knowledge. So it's good to, positively and respectfully communicate that you're able to support their initiatives, and always kind of spinning it that positive way of, I'm here to support you. I'm not here to tell you that you don't know anything, because again, we're all professionals. We need to be respectful, because again, we're here to serve the client and the patient in the best of our capacity. So yeah, the Build Up Dietitian events are really great. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about them. So it's really great to see some positive feedback here in the comments. I feel like I spit a lot of information at everyone about my journey. So I hope that it was helpful. My biggest advice, to be totally honest, is people are going to tell you that you can't do something and that it's hard and that it requires a lot of work and time. Again, my plan is always, what do you truly want to accomplish in life? What do you want to do? How do you want to help people? Make a plan and then follow that plan through. And a lot of people will say, well, have a plan B. And truly, if you go all in with your plan A, you don't need to have a plan B, because you'll always be redirected to the right thing. So whether that's, a different internship, or it's a different experience, or maybe you didn't get that job that you wanted, either way, you're always redirected to something better. So always embrace every opportunity as a positive one, and that maybe if you're not at where you want right now, you will get there eventually. I know myself, as a former RD to be, I had just heard so much information about, the appropriate way to do things, the proper way to do things. To be honest, the best way to do anything is just to do it and to take those small steps. And the best way to get anywhere is to go slow. My favorite emoji. Ooh, that's a great question. Honestly, I'm probably going to have to say the flame emoji. I love the fire emoji, because I like to feel like, anything I'm saying, I really want to bring that fire and that positivity to people's lives and to inspire them. Who else would like to comment what their favorite emoji is before we wrap things up here for today? Leah, what is yours? Hopefully she's still watching with us. Otherwise, I'm talking to nobody. Otherwise, so again, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here for today. Some places to follow me. My website is currently under construction. So again, as I've shared, I've started my own private practice, Nutrition with Wendi. It's an opportunity for me to work with, health professionals, do speaking events, work with adolescent athletes, recreational athletes, adults that are just looking to, improve their health and wellness. Oh, there we go. The 100%. I love that. That's great stuff. So yeah, that's going to be posted here in a few weeks. I'm working with some great people here in Okemos, Michigan. They're getting me set up with everything. So I'll get that website posted, but you can find me again on Twitter at Wendi_Irlbeck, and then Instagram at Nutrition with Wendi. And then I also have a Facebook page for Nutrition with Wendi. So you can go ahead and like that, follow me. Please feel free to contact me, reach out to me if you have any questions. I love giving back to our profession. Again, I cannot say enough positive things about being a dietitian. It's truly the most amazing job in the whole wide world, because we get to help people. And I love that. We get to interact with so many great people. And I've had so many people help me along the way. So I want to say thank you again to Leah and everyone at Build Up Dietitians for this opportunity to discuss my journey to becoming a registered dietitian nutritionist. I look forward to interacting with you all on social media. So please go follow me, send me a DM, let me know what you liked about today, or any ways that we can collaborate. If you're in the Lansing, Michigan area, or even Minnesota, I love to travel, and my family's back in Minnesota. And again, if I'm ever out and about and you see that I'm somewhere, please reach out to me. Let's get together. Let's talk shop. Let's talk sports nutrition, science. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to connecting with you all in the future. I hope that everybody has a tremendous weekend, and it is Friday, so go out there and be healthy. Thank you all.